Good morning. Today is Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. 2 weeks ago, when I and a group of Orthodox rabbis from across Canada spent the day in Ottawa appealing to government leaders, our main focus was support for Israel and taking action against anti-Semitism here. But there was one more main focus of that day, which I have not discussed due to its sensitivity. But now that I see that it is public, I want to clarify that there is now a very real threat to shechita, to kosher slaughter, in Canada. Currently, there are only 4 slaughterhouses in Canada that process kosher meat. All 4 of them are in Quebec. Last spring, the government released a new regulation that requires an extra step just after the shechita, and that extra step takes more time and it makes kosher slaughter unviable. Now, this happened in the spring, May, and June of 2023, as inspectors began imposing this new regulation over the summer. The amount of kosher meat prepared in Canada plunged downwards, so that now kosher slaughter is in danger of being lost to Canada. And currently, most of the kosher meat that is available is now imported from other countries. Since last spring, when this first started, the MK, the COR, and CJA have been working on this assiduously with the assistance of the federations in Montreal and Toronto. I have been very active in this as well, and I worked to place this on the agenda of our day in Ottawa. All of our efforts have so far not succeeded. Last week, those groups that I mentioned before filed a lawsuit against the government to try to save kosher shechita in Canada. Now, when we met with leaders of both the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party in Ottawa 2 weeks ago, all of them agreed with us and agreed to support our request full-heartedly. They all pledged their support for us. But since this is a regulatory issue, it is not clear what they can do to help. The issue is which scientists to listen to. For decades, it has been clearly established by recognized scientists all over the world that shechita, our method of kosher slaughter, is the most humane method of slaughter that is possible. A clear cut in the neck of the animal is made. The animal is almost immediately unconscious. Blood is allowed to drain quickly, and death to the animal is quick and painless. There are decades of research and data to support this. The Canadian government chose to listen to a small group of alternative researchers using flawed data to show that captive bolt stunning is a better method of slaughter, even though that method has a higher fail rate. There is a longer time interval between the animal being shot in the head and death, and almost certainly the animal feels more pain during that time. So what we seek is not just an exemption for kosher slaughter in the regulations. We require a finding that is well-based scientifically, that shechita is as humane, if not more humane, than any other method. And we need this result for two reasons. Number one, because it is the truth. It is the scientific truth that shechita is the most humane method of slaughter. But number two, if there is simply an exemption in Canadian law for kosher slaughter, even the appearance that Jews are being exempted from humane treatment of animals would be another terrible source of anti-Semitic activism against us, as has happened in other places in the world. And again, it is simply not true. We are the ones whose Torah from 3,500 years ago, whose Torah expressly prohibits tsar balei chayim, any unnecessary pain to animals. Numerous mitzvos in the Torah require us to guard against any unnecessary pain to animals. And the goal of shechita is precisely that, to provide the method of slaughter that is the most humane, least painful method possible. If our efforts fail, it does not only mean Jews are less able to lead Jewish lives here in Canada, which in itself would be a terrible result, but it would also give strength to other efforts to prohibit kosher shechita elsewhere, as we already find in Belgium, in Switzerland, and other places. I want to be very clear about this point. I do not impute anti-Semitism to the Canadian government. But worldwide, it is anti-Semites who push these suspect researchers and their flawed studies as part of a campaign against Jews elsewhere. We simply want the Canadian government to listen to the most authoritative, objective, and expert researchers. We cannot allow what has happened in Belgium, Switzerland, and other places. We cannot allow that to happen here in Canada. My friends, I wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person.